Check, 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 check. Hey, everyone. Welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today, we're talking about quick techniques you can use to lose weight for busy people. When you're busy, you have to approach your weight loss a little differently because you don't really have the time, the energy, or the mental extra energy to dedicate to doing something crazy. So you need to find simple ways to not only help you lose weight, but to deal with living a really busy lifestyle, because the busier you are typically, the more stressed you are. So the first technique that I want to share with you is just to relax. If you dedicate a few minutes a day, and that's all it takes, by the way, you only dedicate a few minutes a day to brush your teeth, and that goes a long way. It's the same thing with relaxation. If you can start to dedicate a few minutes in the morning, ideally a little bit in the middle of the day, and maybe a little bit in the end of the evening to relaxing and calming down, you change everything, because as soon as you calm down and relax, you really activate more of your brain so you can think about things more clearly. And so this isn't not only going to help you make better food choices, it's also going to help you in your life, with your work, with all the things that you're busy with. The more calm and clear-headed you are, the easier it is to be more productive and get through the things you need to do. And it obviously supports you making healthier food choices and setting yourself up for success with your health and your weight. So relaxation and committing to that's number one. Number two is water. Okay. A lot of people that are busy, it's hard to drink enough water. So the secret is to get a big old water bottle, right? Get yourself a big water bottle that pretty much is big enough to get at least the minimum amount of water you want to get in your body a day. So you're tracking one of those. Fill it up in the morning and then strategically drink it throughout the day so you finish at least one of those a day. Because if you're a busy person, you're not drinking enough water, again, you're doing yourself a huge disservice, because that mild dehydration to major dehydration level is causing physical stress. Your muscles don't feel as good. You don't feel as good. Your energy levels are lower, and cognitive stress. Your brain doesn't work as efficiently when you're dehydrated. So you're really doing yourself a disservice if you're not putting enough hydration into your body. So committing to getting more water in your body is another way that you can really start to support your weight loss if you're really busy. The next thing is to rely on fruit. Fruit, specifically apples and bananas, are really good ones, but start getting fruit when you go to the store so that when you're busy and you're got to run in the car or you got to run to work, you've got a piece of fruit that you can bring with you. It is so helpful to be able to rely on fruit rather than protein bars or some other processed food. It makes such a difference. Now, it won't happen immediately. The day you eat the apple, you're not going to notice all the benefits. But if you start stringing together 3, 4, 5 days a week where you're eating a piece of fruit rather than some processed food while you're rushing around during your day, it really starts to accumulate and make a huge difference overall. So that's another piece of the puzzle. And then finally, the piece that sets you to get to help you lose weight is to start making strategic changes to your eating. Don't try and change everything all at once. That's too overwhelming. You're already stressed and too busy. We need to take it strategically. So after you focus on those first 3 habits, start working on your worst eating habit. Okay. And start focusing on that. Don't try and change everything. Try and change one thing at a time. And by doing it this way, you make it less overwhelming so you can actually make real progress forward. And that's really the things that makes the biggest difference overall, is when you systematically and strategically change things and you keep on changing them and building on what you've changed, as opposed to trying to change everything all at once. So if you're a busy person and want to lose weight, I hope that these help you out. And if you want some support with this process, click the link in my bio or go to programyourselfthin.com. Get the free hypnosis session I give you, watch the video I made for you, and read the emails I send you, because they will help you go deeper into this process. So I hope this helps you out. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. So here we are, Monday of Halloween week. How's it going for everyone? Halloween's such a funny one. It's really gotten ridiculous. I don't even know if it's funny. What's up, Katie? How's it going? It's ridiculous. Just sending, period. There. Yeah. 201 pounds. Is there any tips to help with that? Yeah, I don't know how tall you are. I don't know what your situation is, but so I don't know tips to help with being 201 pounds. If you wanted to lose weight, you'd want to reduce your average calorie consumption. That's pretty much the best way you want to go about that. So I'll leave that one simple. Mary loves herself. All right. The best handle on here. Good job. Hey, what's going on? What do you think about health at every size and body positivity? I think a lot of that's bullshit. I don't know. I mean, I've studied this, and even the person, the body positivity movement was really started by a woman in England, and she's since, again, then listen, I want to make it real clear. I'm body positivity. I think everyone should feel positive and love themselves regardless of their weight and health level or whatever. I think, social stigma about weight, I think is terrible. I hate it. So I want to just say that first. The flip side, though, this idea that you can be any weight and be just as healthy, I don't see the evidence of that. I have not seen the evidence that being obese is in any way healthy for most people. There's always outliers, but I have not seen any evidence that being obese is in any way a healthy state of being. So I don't buy into that part. And I think the body positivity movement went too far with it. And I think that they're going to get their whole message, they're going to get holes blown in it, because it's like saying cigarettes, oh, you're a cigarette, stop, berating cigarette smokers. And again, we shouldn't berate them. We shouldn't put them down. We shouldn't judge them. At the same time, we can, encourage them that that's not a healthy way to live. That's not a healthy habit. And being obese is not a healthy thing in most cases. So, I think body positivity, I think a lot of it, to be completely honest, I think a lot of body positivity has been co-opted by the big food companies. And I think they love it because basically again, it's just one more thing that obscures the core fact that your weight, I think of weight as life and death. And I've seen nothing to discourage me from that over 30 years, that I believe me being at my goal weight or slightly under is a healthier state of being, is going to support my living as long as possible, more than being heavier and certainly being obese. I believe that in my heart. Is that true or not? Well, I don't know. Go find some longevity doctor and see what they say. I'm not sitting here saying I am that person, but all the studies I've done, I read 50 books a year. I've been doing that for a long time. So I read a lot of stuff. I have not seen any persuasive things that say being obese is healthy. I have seen things saying, being normal weight or above, being even overweight, according to the BMI chart, you can still be healthy. So I've seen that. But I've also seen study after study show that being goal weight or slightly under, slightly, is really what seems to kind of correlate with the longest lifespans. And it makes sense to me. And I kind of believe it. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But again, the body positivity thing, I don't even know how we're saying that. I mean, again, I'm body positive, but the health piece of it, I am completely lost with. And you would have to explain to me what studies you're referencing where it says being obese is good for your lifespan and health, and your quality of life. I that part I don't get. What's up, Jen? Jen says, happy Monday. I had my first real pleasure days and really enjoyed them. Made sure I left some food on my plate so that I did not eat being uncomfortable. Up less than a pound, so I think it's a win. Great job, Jen. I'm so proud of you. Because again, it's really, again, we want to think about this in phases. And the first phase with the pleasure day is just to do it. Okay. And so you go up a pound. Who gives a shit? Because you're going to see that pound comes off the next couple of days. But now what you've done is you've unlocked a new level where you've let your mind know we don't have to give up any foods. You have to eat them differently, but you don't have to give up any foods. And so I think that's a huge win, Jen. Great job. Proud of you for finally doing it too. Because I know sometimes people really put that off. They're so nervous. I'm at one pleasure and it's going to blow everything out of proportion. So I'm glad that you did that. And I'm glad that we're calm with it. Okay. And then we want to keep building on that. Great job. Hanny says, tips for going back on track after vacation. Oh, that's a great question. In Program Yourself Thin, we have what are called re-entry weeks. And this is what we use the week after vacation, after the holidays, I just had surgery, my shoulder. So I was kind of out of commission for a week. I had a re-entry week. So re-entry week's really a concept where we go from kind of being off track to being on track. And again, dieters only think in black and white, all or nothing terms. So there is no such thing as a re-entry week. You're on vacation mode. Now you have to get right back to being perfect. And that's a kind of a ridiculous expectation, in my opinion, for most areas of your life, but certainly when it comes to your eating and your weight loss related activities. So I'm a big believer in re-entry week or weeks sometimes. And the idea is that you're going to transition back to where you were. But how about you transition? Why does it have to be just I know you dieters are the most impatient people, but why not transition back to where you were? And so what's that mean? How does that look? Well, now Program Yourself Thin, we have our structured eating, we have our core, habits and lifestyle pieces that we have as well. But it doesn't have to just be eating perfect, So for me, for example, if I had a reentry week, and I did a couple weeks ago, the week after my surgery, taking that week off, I wanted to reenter. And what that means, I focused getting more sleep, going to bed early. I focused on drinking my water. I focused on starting eating my salads again for lunch. Now, my eating wasn't perfect during that week, but it was better than the week before. And it led to the week after. So again, if you can get this concept in your mind of stop being black and white, all or nothing, start being kind of that gray area, all or something, you can transition back to being on track. And you may find that feels a lot more comfortable. Now, if you just want to jump right back on track, knock yourself out. Sometimes you can do that, but a lot of times you can't. A lot of times you get back from vacation, you can't just pop right back perfectly into your plan. So instead of just being, that way or no way, start to realize, no, I can transition back into it. I'll just do little things that kind of get me back there. And then I think that's helpful. Greetings from Germany. All right. Yeah, you're back in Germany. Nice. Like your page and reels. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Let's see. What's up, Karen? Candy doesn't scare me. Not a candy person. All right. Very good. I know. Yeah. If you don't care about candy, then Halloween's no problem. But if you're a candy person, Halloween can be a bit of a struggle. Mary says, it's been like a month and I feel like I have made no progress. Boy, isn't that the dieter's refrain, So it's like, I'm going to talk in a way dieters don't think here for a second, but what am I going to do? I can't sit here and coddle you dieters because you keep doing dumb shit. So it's like, I can't coddle dumb shit. Okay. Meaning, Mary, I don't know what you did. I don't know what it's been like a month. I don't know what that means. It's been like a month. So it's been 2 weeks. It's been 3 weeks. It's been a month. First off, I want to get specific. What's the time frame? Second, what have you done? Because these vagaries, you dieters are like that, right? I mean, once you jump in your plan, there's no vagaries. Everything's very, very specific, black and white. But a lot of you hover in this weird place where you kind of make some improvements, but they're vague ones. You don't know how long you've been doing this. You're not really sure what you've changed. Just try and eat better. That's a recipe for failure because you'll change a couple things. You'll remember the biggest things you did. You'll forget the smallest things you didn't do. A week will go by and you'll think it's 3 weeks. And then you'll get discouraged because you didn't get any results. Made no progress. And again, you're making no progress. You're only tracking your weight. You're not tracking how you feel. You're not tracking your energy levels. You're not tracking your hydration. You're not tracking your eating. You're not tracking your habits. You're not tracking your mindset. All you got is your weight to track. So again, I get what you're saying, Mary, because every dieter here can probably relate to that. You've tried to do better for a little while and nothing's working, but you're winging it most likely. Now, again, maybe you're not. Maybe you have a very specific plan. Fill me on the details. If you give me more details, Mary, I will give you a much more detailed coaching response back. But when you hit me with I've been doing this for almost a month and I've been trying to change things and I'm not getting any results, that's so vague. It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. And if you keep thinking that way, you're going to continue to just flounder because it's like saying, I want to play piano and I've been playing here and there and I just haven't gotten any better. Well, you know what I mean? Like you have to be more specific. Tough shit. It is what it is. So again, I'm not here to, convince you of that. How could it be any other way? Anything else in your life, you can't just be all kind of willy-nilly with it. And maybe you're real specific. So if you're being specific, hit me with the specifics, right? I'm not judging you with this. I'm not assuming anything, but I am saying that it's been a month and I feel like I've made no progress. I need more details than that because a lot of dieters say that. And once we start dialing into it, we can get somewhere. But vague things, we get vague solutions and answers. So got to be more specific with the questions you all ask. I would say that's definitely a pattern I've noticed. I've done almost 6,000 private weight loss sessions. Mary says, I start feeling discouraged when I feel stuck. Yeah, of course. But I would need to know what you're doing. And I don't know what stuck means. I don't know how long you've been stuck. I don't know what you've been doing to do it. Mary says, I've been eating clean and I guess about 3 weeks. Okay, great. 3 weeks isn't that long. So you could have eaten perfect and in 3 weeks not lose any weight at all. That happens. People lose weight quickly and slowly. And it's crazy to me that people don't know this, but it's very true. And there's no question about it. I mean, this is as scientifically proven as anything that people lose. They've done this. Just go look up any study where they put people into a metabolic lab. They track every calorie in, calorie out for these people. And what happens after a month, however long they're in there, they all lose wildly different amounts of weight. So, you ought to recognize that. The calorie calculators are bullshit. They're just guesstimates. They may or may not be accurate. Who knows? Because every body is different. You may be a slow weight loss loser. It's tough shit. It sucks. I wish you were a fast weight. I wish everyone in the world could eat well for a week and lose 10 pounds. That's what I wish. But it doesn't work that way. And so I can't tell you the number of dieters that are lose weight slowly. They're doing everything right, but they're impatient. And so 3 weeks in, they didn't lose weight and they quit. Where if they stayed with it one more week, they would have lost 5 pounds. And then if they stuck with it, they would have got right down to their goal weight. Because what do you think happens? If we take your emotion out of it for a second, if you stuck with the plan for the next year, what do you think would happen? Do you really think nothing would happen? Do you really think if you cut your calories down by 25% over a year, you're not going to lose any weight? You have to, again, it's kind of like, focus on the data, not the drama, right? Not the drama of what the scale's saying. Because why? You have some bullshit idea in your mind. Oh, 3 weeks, I should lose this much. Well, I haven't lost a pound, Jim. Okay. What does that mean? Who cares? I don't know. Like again, this idea that, well, if I don't lose weight in 3 weeks, I quit, And plus, I've been eating clean is vague too, Mary, just to be completely honest. Because I'm trying to point out, because I know you feel like, oh, I've done everything. I've been eating clean. Well, what's eating clean mean? You don't know how to eat clean, most likely. If you're a person who's been overweight for a long time, and then you say, okay, tomorrow's Monday, I'm gonna start eating clean. It's like, that's great. I applaud the effort. I think that's great, but there's got to be some space that you have to give yourself to realize that you need to learn how to eat clean. You just magically not eat clean. You magically think you're doing it perfectly. Like how? So again, even in the first 3 weeks, you're just starting. It's like saying, oh, I've been playing the piano for 3 weeks and I don't see any progress. Yeah, I don't know. Why would you? 3 weeks is nothing. Now you go to college. I want to learn to be an accountant. 3 weeks in, you're like, I haven't learned accounting yet. I don't think this is working. Well, it's not working yet. It's been 3 weeks, which is nothing. I know you think it's a lot because you've been conditioned by the diet industry to think 3 weeks is a really long time because the diet industry always conditioned you to do crazy shit. So you see fast results. 3 weeks is nothing. So, again, I'm not trying to be obnoxious here, but it's like, we got to change the way we're approaching this. And so there's plenty of stuff for you to work on. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say with you. Okay. What I'm trying to say is, we either go about like a dieter. Okay. I'm going to try and do what I've fucking done 500 times. I'm going to try and eat clean. And 3 weeks in, I haven't lost any weight. And so, oh, this is not working. What's not working? What's not working? You've changed your habits. You started doing things better. Great. Let's build on that. It may not be working yet with the weight, but you've started to change your behaviors. You've got new things you've been eating, new things you've been doing. You must be feeling a little bit better about yourself because you just made some changes. And then you start focusing on how can I get my mindset? I want to change my mindset too to support me. I want to change my lifestyle so it's supporting me as well. And then ultimately I want to change my eating. But it's a process. So it's like, you dieters always have this fucking timeline on the end. It's like it's just 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away. It's, well, if I don't lose weight, I quit. Go quit. Nothing, I don't know. Me and my life, I don't know. Things that are hard, suck in the beginning and you have to stick with it. And then you get good at it. I mean, it's the same thing with absolutely everything I've ever done. Isn't it with you? Anything that you've kind of stuck with and gotten good at? Were you great at it right away or did you stick with it? And dieters are just the fastest to quit. And it's not your fault. Again, I'm just trying to be, attack you. I'm attacking the diet mindset. That's your core problem. So again, I mean, Mary, I'm not even picking on you because you're literally representing what every dieter thinks. He's like, oh, I want to lose weight. Okay, so I'm going to do. You don't learn anything new. You're like, I'm going to eat clean. Okay, what's that mean? Do you know what eating clean means? And again, maybe you do. Okay, so I'm not picking on you specifically. I'm saying dieters in general. But at most, I'm going to do keto again. In other words, I'm going to do a plan that hasn't worked for me 20, 30 times before. But I'm going to do it now. And now it's going to work. And then when it doesn't work, I'm just going to quit again. Isn't that the fucking same process you've done literally 10, 20, 30, 100 times? So how do you do things differently? Well, commit to it. Make a real commitment. That's all it takes. It's like weight loss isn't rocket science. It's really not that hard. Just so you know, it's really not that hard to change how you eat. It's hard for you because you're fucking trying to change everything you eat all at once. It's like playing the piano. Playing the piano is not that hard. If you commit 15 minutes a day, you will be unbelievable. You'll be absolutely amazed at where you're at a year from now. But if you say, I'm going to learn to play piano, I'm going to give myself a week and I'm going to practice every day for 10 hours. Well, yeah, it's going to be really hard. But that's what you're doing yourself with the diets. You're giving yourself this much time to completely change everything. You overwhelm yourself, stress yourself out. You can't stick with it. Then you quit, and then you beat yourself up for quitting. And you never consider the diet. You never consider, this doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't approach anything else like this. What else in your life do you just like change absolutely everything all in one day? And especially eating, it's estimated you make over 200 food decisions a day. Your eating's done on autopilot. And now all of a sudden you decide one day I'm going to do all of it intentionally, consciously, and you're going to stick with it forever until you reach your goal weight. What? It's so stupid. It defies any reason or logic, and you're way too smart to be doing it. I don't get it. Cause again, I know you're smart if you're listening to me, because only smart people listen to me because I talk fast, and people that don't have as much stuff going on up here, just, it overwhelms them. What do you want? I'm not saying better or worse. It just is what it is. And so you're listening to me. You're way too smart to keep fucking dieting. I mean, wake the fuck up. I told you, I say this all the time, but as a hypnotist, I thought I was going to be hypnotizing people to lose weight. I didn't realize the majority of it is me dehypnotizing them to wake you up. Stop thinking like a fucking dieter. Wake up. Okay. On the count of 3, you'll wake up. 1, 2, 3, wake up. You're no longer a dieter. Stop it. Please stop it. It's like a guaranteed path of failure. And I mean, how much more proof would you need? You failed 100 times. Everyone you know's failed 100 times on diets. So why do you have such faith in it? What the fuck? I mean, I know why you do, because I understand how your mind works on a practical level. I know you got a conscious and subconscious mind. I understand how your mind works. And I know why you keep doing dumb, irrational shit like dieting. I know why. But I'm asking you, who doesn't know those things, to reflect on the fact that you really have built your entire weight loss around a strategy that it's estimated as a 95% failure rate. It's estimated that 95% of dieters that lose weight on a diet put it back on. Don't those numbers match up with your experience? You're sitting here listening to me most likely because you're overweight. Everyone you know, is there anyone killing it on diets that you know? Like long-term? I'm not talking about weight loss. I'm talking about living at their goal weight. Do you know anyone? You might know one or two. So at what point do you stop blaming yourself and start blaming the fucking process you're trying to use to make it happen? You've been duped 100% by the diet industry. You've been hypnotized. You've been conditioned. And it doesn't work because the diet companies are owned by the food companies. The diet companies don't want you to lose weight for 2 reasons. A, they want to keep getting you with money with the diets. And most importantly, the bigger one is they want you to keep eating the bullshit. So again, Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. Atkins Food Products owned by the same company as Auntie Anne's Pretzels and Cinnabon. Slim Fast owned by the same company that owns Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Do you really think those companies want you to start eating healthy, natural foods so that you live at your goal weight for the rest of your life? Well, they don't. I went to business school. A corporation's only job is to make money. So what do you think? Do you really think a company would buy a diet that helped you to actually eat healthier and be at your goal weight for the rest of your life and eat less of their product? What sense does that make? So that instead they program to think like a dieter, because dieters, what do? They just keep spinning their wheels. You never get anywhere, but you keep blaming yourself. That's the part I don't get. Blackberry says, I've come from 90 and been plateau 81 kilograms for more than 4 months. What do I do? What to do? I feel stuck. Yeah, 4 months. Okay, great job. Because that's good. You've stuck with it for a while. So you've maintained. I think that's great. Again, you all think of them as plateaus. I think of it as practice and maintenance, which is the ultimate goal anyway. So I never minded plateaus when I was losing weight, and I don't mind them now, obviously, because I'm at my goal weight, right? But that's your goal. You're looking to be at the ultimate plateau, which is you want to stay at your goal weight though forever. All right. So I know it's annoying for you when you want to lose weight that you're kind of stuck at the same thing, but I look at it as, wow, you've practiced and gotten good at maintaining a 9 kilogram weight loss. So to me, that's everything. I would like that, because now you've normalized living 9 kilograms down for 4 months. That's great. So whatever you did to make it happen, it must be somewhat sustainable, because you've been able to maintain it for 4 months, even with the weight going down. So that's a great sign. And so now whatever you've done to keep yourself at that 9 kilogram lighter weight for 4 months, now I'd look at what I was doing, specifically eating, and I would go and I'd focus on thanks, Teresa. I'd focus on the highest calorie consumption habit that I typically do. So over the last 4 months, if you look at a typical week, where is the highest calorie consumption habit you have? And then I'd start focusing on optimizing that, reducing the calories of it. That's what I'd do. But great job. What's up, Carrie? Joe Mama says you can eat too much of healthy foods too. Yeah, you can, but it's harder. It's a lot harder. It's absolutely not impossible. Blackberry, can you diet continuously till it becomes a new normal? I mean, I suppose you could, but dieting in and of itself is coded as a temporary thing. The vast majority of people, especially overweight people, think of dieting subconsciously as a temporary thing. I'm going to diet until I lose the weight. And so could you stick with it until it became a new normal? I mean, technically, but subconsciously it's programmed as I'm going to do this so the scale goes down. And what a lot of people do is they trade the excitement of the food for the excitement of the scale moving down. And as soon as the scale stops moving down, because you're at your goal weight, well, where's the excitement now? Oh, just living at my goal weight. Oh yeah. Then why did 95% of people put the weight back on? So, I mean, that gets a little bit to another, what you're saying is technically true, but very unlikely, because if you keep thinking like a dieter, it's very hard to live at your goal weight for a lot of psychological reasons. So it's possible, but unlikely. With programming yourself, then we start with the maintenance level. We start with what goal do you want to live at? What weight do you want to live at? How do we make that happen? Everything's about that. It's not about the weight loss. The weight loss is just a phase. You don't want to lose weight, folks. You want to live at your goal weight. If you think that's the same thing, then get your head checked, because it's not. It's two totally different things. Dieters are obsessed with getting to their goal weight. Weight mastery, we're focused on living at your goal weight. Which one would you prefer? How many times have you lost weight and then put it back on? It's because you don't know how to live at your goal weight. You've never learned that. Right? I know you haven't. How do I know that? The fucking weight loss industry is a $65 billion a year industry, but I know that you have never learned how to live at your goal weight. You've never even approached that subject. It's the closest you've gotten to living at your goal weight and thinking in that way is the vague, obscure, far off in the distance concept of maintenance, which you have no idea about. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm not here to convince you that diets don't work. I don't have to. Look at your results. Look at the people around you. I'm not trying to be rude, but I mean, is this not true? So it's not up to me to defend diets. Why the fuck are you keep doing a diet? Because why? Because you know what you need to do. You just need to get yourself to do it. Is that why? You just need to get yourself to do it. How long have you been saying that? When you keep saying, I just need to get myself to do it. I just need to get myself to do it. That's code for, I don't know how to get myself to do it. Don't you think learning how to get yourself to think, live, and eat differently would be important? Don't you think just more than just having a meal plan? Oh, here, just do this. And then what? You're just going to do it? What evidence do you have that you can just change all your eating in one day for good? What evidence? When have you done that? Well, right before your wedding 30 years ago and you did Weight Watchers? Since then, when have you done it? When have you just changed all your eating on a Monday and stuck with it? It doesn't happen. So why do you keep trying it though? That's my question. No. Jen says, do you have thoughts on if you should drink water with meals or not? I do have thoughts on it, and I'm going to give you some, I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. And I'm not going to say these are the most scientific, because I've kind of read shit in passing and it just kind of makes intuitive sense to me, which is usually wrong, but I'm going to share it with you anyways. And I'll share what I do, but don't take this 100% because this one I'm not sure on, but I don't drink water with my meals. Okay. Why? Because I believe, and again, this is where I'm getting into probably a little woo-woo science. I don't know how accurate this is, but I believe if I drink water while I'm eating, it kind of dilutes some of the stomach chemicals that breaks the food down. So usually what I do is I won't drink water, like, I don't know, on average an hour, half hour after I finished eating. And I give myself an hour, my body just kind of deal with it. Is that real? Is it not real? I be honest, I don't know. I read it somewhere along the way. I didn't validate that thing very extensively. It just kind of made sense to me. I drink enough water at other times of the day anyways. So that's what I do. So, oh, that's what you read too. Yeah. So, that's one I like to be very clear about. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a scientist in any way. Never did well with science in school. My brain doesn't really think that way. And it's funny now being an adult, because I do read a lot of neuroscience and science in general. And I'm always impressed with scientists' thinking. I mean, their brains, they dazzle me. So I'm well aware I'm not a scientific thinker. So I let you all know that. Now, I do know some science, obviously. I wouldn't, the science I do know and understand, I put out there is being verified if I verified it. And if it's not, I don't like to pretend that I know what I'm talking about. Because there's a lot of shit I don't know what I'm talking about, but I like to make that clear. No one knows everything, right? You wouldn't know that from some of these. Mary says, dang, I guess my metabolism is slow. I mean, it may be, Mary, but I can almost guarantee you're not eating as clean as you think you are. I'm just being honest. Any dieter, I mean, if you're following a strict plan, okay, that's one thing. If you're kind of doing a looser plan, like intuitive eating, clean eating, whole food naturally, I'm trying to eat more of that. When it's more vaguer, I can almost guarantee you it's not as clean as you think it is. And so it might be a little of both, Mary. You might lose weight a little slowly, and you may not be eating as clean as you thought. And you're not probably cleaning up your lifestyle as much to support you. Lifestyle is huge, especially the short term, with your weight loss, and then your mindset. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you're working on those pieces. So again, I wouldn't just go run to the metabolism is slow thing. My dieters love doing that. The difference between a fast and a slow metabolism, well, see, it's not even a metabolism that's making the weight go quicker or slower, just so you know. Do you know what I mean? Like metabolism is one thing and fat storage is another thing. So anyways, it's just more complex than that. Kent says, each week I add new healthy foods, fruits, veggies to my eating blueprint, replacing unhealthy choices. Kent's in the program a couple weeks here, but Kent, I got to say, I always love some people really get in the program and just really kind of get it. And it seems like Kent's kind of getting that, because that's exactly what we do in the program. Is even the eating blueprint, it's not about changing it all one day. It's about strategically changing it in a way that's going to last long term. And so that's a smart way to do it. Each week, I add new healthy foods, fruits, vegetables to my eating blueprint, replacing unhealthy ones. That's brilliant, because you do as much as is comfortable. And, the weeks keep rolling. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't worry about how fast you get results. Just make sure that you're doing consistently improving. And if you can really wrap your head around that, it's amazing 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year into the future, what your reality looks like. That's real change. You'll never convince me. That's why I fucking hate The Biggest Loser. It's just really like the ultimate bullshit of the diet mindset. But this idea they're going to change absolutely everything, it's again, you can lose weight quickly that way, but for a little while, and then you're going to put it all back on. So great job, Ken. That's wonderful. Chelsea says, do you have any mental tips to work on how to learn to become more patient? Well, I think that honestly, I think it's the physical tips that are going to be more useful to you of how to be more patient. Okay. So it's not rocket science. If you want to be more patient, literally the fastest, easiest, most effective thing you could do is to relax your body and take a deep breath. And do it right now, Chelsea. Okay. Relax your stomach, relax your chest, relax your shoulders, especially. Really let those shoulders relax. Imagine your neck relaxing, your jaw relaxing, your eyes relaxing. If you can, close those eyes. Let them really relax. Relax all the muscles here, eyebrows, forehead, and face. Let all of these muscles just completely relax. And now bring your attention inside and connect to your breathing. Take deeper breaths, hold them for a moment, and slowly exhale them out. And bring your attention inwards. Connect to your breathing. Stay relaxed and calm. Breathe more fully and exhale all the air out of your lungs. Keep your body relaxed and inhale slowly. That alone ought to make you feel a little more patient. Don't tell me it doesn't make you feel a little more patient. I'm not saying completely patient, but is there anyone there that made them feel more impatient? I mean, some of you, because you're stressed out, you can't relax at all. But if you're able to relax a little bit, doesn't that make you feel a little more patient? Okay. So this gets back into, okay, so we're always in a state, right? We're always in a state. Sometimes we're impatient. Sometimes we're patient. Just for example, sometimes we're angry, some are depressed, or some are happy. We're always in a state. And that state is a combination of two things: your physiology, what's going on in your body, and what's going on in your brain. the easiest one to influence is your body. Right. So again, especially this group here, right? We're all overthinkers. So we want to think our way out of the bag, right? We want to think our way out of being impatient. Jim, why am I so impatient? Jim, why am I so impatient? What's wrong with me? I've always been impatient. What's going on with me? And we think we have some cognitive breakthrough where all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got it. And now, now that I know I'm the most patient person on the planet, that's what you all think's going to happen. It's not. Okay. So you got to let that go. And instead, just be more patient. How? Well, we just did. And that was just one time for 30 seconds. What if you did that every day for 30 seconds? What if you did it for 5 minutes? Right? What would happen? Well, you'd feel like a more calm, patient person. Now, there's obviously a psychological aspect to it as well. But the first thing we want to deal with is our body, because that's the easiest, biggest, fastest way you can make yourself feel different. And in this case, to feel more patient, just pretend you feel more patient and you will feel more patient. And there's psychology to it as well. But yeah, Betty says, that felt awesome. Yeah, that state you just put me in is perfect. I know. Betty, that's why you should get the program. That program will be available, just the hypnosis piece. So again, this is why I did it, because I know I can make people lose weight. For a long time, I said, I don't want to help people lose weight. I want to help them master their weight. But I've come to the, my senses. And if people just want to lose weight, I'm cool. I'll help them lose weight because I got a way to do it. It's the most comfortable, easy, simplest way ever. If you feel that way more, folks, don't you think it'd be easier to lose weight because you'd make better food decisions when you feel that way? So that's what Program Yourself Thin does. It helps you feel a lot more grounded, calm, and relaxed, and helps you think more effectively. So I'm glad you enjoyed that. Ken says, makes me excited to start my clean days on Monday. There you go, Kent, right? Same with me. I love my clean days on Mondays. I look forward to them. And I look forward to them because I know that I'm not going to have to clean day for the rest of my life. I know when Friday's coming around, this week, Thursday. So they think Halloween coming up. And it's like, I know I'll eat some bullshit. I know I'll eat some candy. I'll have pizza probably that night. It's fine because it's an outlier week. But when Monday comes around next week, I can't wait. I'll be right back into it. I love it. I love it. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why I say to you, with your diets, when's the last time you were excited to start a diet? When were you excited to get back on your diet when you get off it? Never. That's the big difference. Mary says, clean is just veggies, meat, and fruit. So, Mary, you're telling me for 3 weeks, all you've eaten is veggies, meat, and fruit? Mary, please answer this. Are you telling me for the last 3 weeks, all that you've eaten is veggies, meat, and fruit? You've had no processed foods, no candy, no baked goods, no pizza, no bread, no soda, no ice cream. Chelsea says, yes, good points. Thank you. Mario, how's it going? Halloween is such a hard time. I binge on candy. Yeah, but Halloween doesn't have to be a hard time. You know what I mean? Like, again, Mario's a catastrophic thinker. So he has like a reflexive thought and he just sticks with it. So Mario, for some reason, he just keeps getting caught up in those thoughts. But Program Yourself Thin, the first way to disconnect yourself from a thought, like, oh my God, here comes Halloween, I'm freaking out. Okay, that's fine. You feel that way, but don't accept that as the final say. Okay, Halloween's coming. How do I want to feel about it? I want to feel calm and relaxed. I want to thrive during it. I want to do well. What does that look like? Well, it doesn't mean I don't eat any candy. I want to eat it more moderately. So let's practice that. Let's figure out ways to do that. But the first way of making that happen, if any chance in hell, is to be a little more calm and relaxed. So. What's up, Sophia? Creedy says, I start the day off strong with eating good, but I start binging by nighttime and ruin everything. Yeah, but starting the day off strong with eating good, what's that mean? Because you know what I usually hear when people say that to me is I start the day off strong with eating good. I say, well, what's eating good? I don't eat anything. Oh, okay. So you get to 1, 2, 3 in the afternoon and you're starving and weak and you think you should eat perfect there too. So typically when I hear people say they're eating good in the beginning of the day and it leads to them overeating at night, it's that they're under restricting and they're getting themselves really hungry so that they can't control their eating. It's just a dumb strategy, So I don't know if that's what you're doing, but that's what I'm going to assume you're doing. Blackberry says, good point. You always get me. Thank you. I do get you all because I spend my time with dieters and I'm the diet whisperer. That really should be my name. Yeah, I'm the diet whisperer. Sophia says, is tea good? Is tea good for weight loss? I drink lots of tea. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, as long as it's tea, just tea, not tea with, you know, 6 teaspoons of sugar or cream or milk or all that stuff in there. But if it's just tea bag and water, I think you're good. I drink tea instead of water after 30 minutes of my meal. I think that's fine. I'd watch out for caffeinated tea, perhaps, you know what I mean? But if it's herbal teas, even green tea, is a lower calorie content, I'd watch out for that, but other than that, I think it's fine, you know. Mary says, "Are you saying I'm lying about eating clean? It's been a really hard 3 weeks." I'm not saying you're lying intentionally, so I don't know if it's a lie. But I am saying that, Mary. Yeah, I'm absolutely saying that. I'm saying that you're probably lying about eating clean. Not that you're intentionally lying to me, but we lie to ourselves all the time, folks. I can no longer pretend this isn't the case. I've done almost 6,000 private weight loss sessions. People are wrong like almost exclusively. So yeah, you're probably lying to yourself. I don't think you're lying to me. I think you're probably missing things. I think it's hard to go from not like, and I know how you used to eat, Mary, so I'm taking you into account a little bit, but I know you're eating, you weren't too great at eating healthy 3 weeks ago because we were talking. Your name was Mary Loves Cake or something. I forget what it was now. Mary Loves Cookies or something. So I think you ate pretty poorly, and I don't think someone can eat poorly and then all of a sudden just be a great clean eater. So I don't believe that's possible. So I think you don't know how to eat clean is what I would say. I'd say you have some vague diet ideas like I got to stop eating carbs. I got to stop eating sugar. You got some vague things you probably tried to do. And I think that you're not as clean as you think you are. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not sitting here telling you that I know more than you do because you know better than I do. But I think if you were really honest with yourself, I think you would find that you didn't eat as clean as you thought you did. That's what I believe. Now, maybe I'm wrong. So you'd have to tell me what you think after you really reflect on it. But just because it's been a hard 3 weeks doesn't mean you've been eating really clean. If you've been eating cleaner, that's going to feel hard. So, you tell me. Mary says, yeah, that's basically how it's been. Veggies, meat, and fruit. Now, again, I'm like Sherlock Holmes with words, right? I'm a hypnotist. I know what words mean. So when I hear Mary say that's basically how it's been, that basically is like a giant red flashing light to me. Well, what's basically mean? I think, because listen, folks, when you've been eating kind of shitty and all of a sudden you start eating better, everything's relative. And so when you go from kind of eating shitty to eating better, you're aware of all the better stuff you're doing and it's taking a lot more energy. A week feels like a month. It's a lot of hard work. And so even the good stuff you're doing, it's like, okay, I'm doing a lot of stuff, but now you're not paying attention to the normal things you do. The basically, I'd love to know what the basically meant. Cause I know you don't, I'm going to guess, Mary, you don't know how to structure your eating. You're just trying to consciously say, okay, today's Monday. From now on, I'm just going to eat better. And so now you're consciously trying to make all good food decisions. You're getting overwhelmed. You're opting back into your normal routine sometimes. It's not as clean as you think. The basically is bigger than you imagine. And it's affecting your results. I can almost guarantee it. Because who the hell can go from eating kind of shitty to eating perfectly in one day? Like, it's very difficult unless you're following something really strict, and you're not. And so if you're following something a little squishier, I don't believe it. It's fuzzy. You're not gonna be as clean as you think you are. And I tell you this with love because I think the worst thing you can think is I've been eating perfectly clean and I'm not losing weight. I think that's the worst lie that dieters tell themselves. And what happens is it starts to make you feel powerless. Like, I've done everything perfect and my body's not losing weight. No, you have not done everything perfect. I can almost guarantee it. Well, how do you know that? Jimmy, don't know me. Yeah, I don't know you, but I know 6,000 people I've worked with over the years privately. That's not even the group coaching I've done. So it's like, you all see me every day with people. So whatever, but we all get to believe what we want to believe. So yeah. And it says, my grandkids 2 and 4 only want fruits and veggies. Don't know why you can offer them anything in fruit and veggies their first pick. Yeah, that's great then. Yeah, if you get kids like that, that's super. They're very lucky. Sheila says, I eat whatever I want, but choose veggies and berries because I know it's fuel to me. Yeah, that's a great strategy. It doesn't have to be veggies and berries, but folks, if you start really optimizing around whole natural foods, you can pretty much eat as much as you want. Now, there's always outliers, okay? But the more healthy, the more fruits, vegetables, greens, beans, meat that you put into your body, the easier time you're going to have, because they're low calorie dense foods. So they fill you up and they have low calories in them. So that's how you lose weight comfortably. So hey, I'm not surprised. That's a great strategy, Shayla. What's up, Joy? What's going on over there? Jen says, I really had a moment of clarity of the pleasure days, had bread when we went out to eat, truly enjoyed it. Oh, thank God. I'm happy for you, Jen. Probably wasn't even the world's best bread, but making it special, not just an everyday thing. You put it in your mouth, made me savor and appreciate it. The true pleasure you speak of. Jen, perfect. That's perfect. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm really glad you realize this, Jen, because the pleasure days are something we're practicing on. Like again, people start the pleasure days. They think they know what it means, but they don't. It takes practice. I don't know. I had to do this. And again, I bring it back to guitar. I play guitar and it's like, I could learn some chord or I could learn some concept on the guitar, but learning that and actually being able to do it are two totally different things. This is why I try and tell you dieters, just because you have some vague idea of what you should do. I'm going to eat clean. Well, it's a vague idea. It's like saying, oh, I know how to play the piano. You just hit the right keys in the right order at the right time and you got a song. Well, yeah, I mean, technically that's true, but it's meaningless on a practical level. Because I could tell you that we all know that, but that doesn't mean we can sit at a piano and play a song. You've got to translate that information into actual knowledge. And the only way to do that is through practice. And you dieters are so ridiculous with the idea that you're going to start in one day and just be perfect. It's fucking defies all logic. And you're all so smart. I don't know how you keep falling for it. I really don't. I really don't. I know you've been in a trance, but any of you that listen to me and you keep fucking trying to diet, I don't. Knock yourselves out, but it's goofy. And so you got to practice at things. You have to expose yourself to things. You have to conceptualize things. The way you think about things is fucked up, folks. If you're overweight, you think like an overweight person. You interpret things like an overweight person. You distort things into an overweight person's mindset. Yeah, you do. And so it's a process. It's a process you have to commit to long-term, or fuck off. I don't know. It's like, I'll go to college. I'll get my degree, but I only got a month to commit to it. Well, then, hey, guess what? You ain't getting a college degree. Sorry. Next. It's that way. And so that's how I feel about dieters. Again, I feel bad for you because you've been sold right down the river. The diet industry's gotten in your heads and you're imprisoned into a mental prison by the diet industry. So I feel bad for you. I feel so bad for you that I literally get on here every day for free. I get on her every day. It costs $25,000 a week. And people invest a lot of money to work with me. I get on her every day for you for free. I'll talk to anyone. Why? Because to me, this is my mission in life, because it's not only that your weight is probably one of the number one factors that's going to impact how long you're alive for, but the bigger part that really gets to me is it's dictating every day of your life emotionally. I know all of you, if you're overweight, it's like the core of your reality. You're constantly cycling around how you're overweight and how you can't change it. And what's wrong with me? And I feel like shit. I'm fucking mad at myself and bastard. And you're just so mad at yourself and you're angry and you're trying to figure it out. And if you step back and look at yourself, you'll probably recognize that it's been 20, 30, 40 years of you kind of hating on yourself because of your weight and your inability to change it. But that's primarily happening because you just fucking go at it with a diet mindset. You're a dieter right down to the core of you. And as long as you keep thinking like a dieter, you're always going to struggle. And so that's why I'm so passionate about this. I want to help you change it, but I'm not going to start bullshitting you and say like, oh, you ate clean and you didn't lose any weight. Oh, what could have happened? Oh God, I know what happened. It wasn't enough time. You didn't eat as clean as you did. You think you ate cleaner than you did. And it's not true. What do you want? Everyone's path of success, in my opinion, is you're basically bouncing up against your own ignorances. Listen, if you're overweight, you're ignorant about a bunch of shit. Not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. You're ignorant about calories. You're ignorant about eating clean. You're ignorant about your habits. You're ignorant about your mindset. You're ignorant of a bunch of shit. You think you know how to do something you don't, and you're bullshitting yourself. How do you explain it? I'm an addict. I'm a food addict. Well, I got no willpower. What the fuck does that mean? No willpower. Look how you get yourself go to work every day. Look how you get yourself take care of your kids every day. No willpower. What are you talking about? You have lots of willpower. The problem is you can't use willpower to change your fucking eating. You don't even understand your. Okay. Anyways, Jen, I'm super proud of you. That's your great work this weekend. That is big. Put a big star in this weekend, Jen, because that's a big moment for you to get the pleasure days the way you're getting them. So super happy for you. E. Pickett says, what can you do if you don't know the reason for your overeating? I was thin as a young man and I don't know why I started eating more. I think you got to explore the reasons. I think you're right on the money. I think you don't know your reasons for overeating. Okay. And so we don't have to know. I will tell you this. I would let go of the reason at first and I'd start to focus on the whens. When do I overeat? That's an easier thing to figure out. You all are trying to get lost in the minutia of the thought of why you're overeating, and it's a wild goose chase. It doesn't fucking matter. What I want to notice is I want to know that the practical habits you have of being overweight. So I want to know for you, Pickett, I want to know if I was you, I'm looking for what are the top 3 times of the week that I overeat? What are the consistent overeating situations that show up daily and weekly? That's what I'm looking at. And then I'm like, you're right on the money though. This is the first step is now I want to like stalk them. So say, oh, I'm a nighttime eater. Okay, great. I'm going to focus on that. Why am I overeating at night? You know what I mean? Now that's a much easier question for your brain to answer. Just, I don't know why I overeat. What's my reason for overeating? Well, what? Overeating at breakfast when you go out with your family to, on a Sunday morning, overeating on Friday night when the week's over and you get a bunch of pizza, overeating on a Monday night when you're depressed and you're eating ice cream because you're lonely and sad. You know what I mean? Like they're all different overeating situations that are all triggered by different things. So there's no one reason you overeat. There's a bunch of reasons you overeat in certain situations. So I hope that makes sense. You know? That says thoughts on extended fasting. Again, if you're talking for weight loss, my thoughts on extended fasting are they're fucking goofy for the most people, because it's overwhelming and not sustainable. So I'm not a big fan of like long-term fasts to regulate weight. I think of a more nuanced approach. I'm not against fasting. I intermittent fast every day, my version of it. Long-term fasts, I don't like. I've tested them a number of times and they're very stressful for me. And I feel like it's a net negative. So I avoid them. So again, the golden rule of program yourself thin, there's no right or wrong. There's only what works for you. So if you're interested in fasting, go experiment with it and see how you feel. But don't just look at how much weight you lose because who gives a shit? Notice how you feel as it approaches. Notice how it feels while you're doing it. And then notice the after effects. Because for me, when I was long-term fast, when I was playing around with it, I dreaded it as it was approaching. I hated it while I was doing it. And then I was like really obsessed with food for a while after it. So it wasn't supportive of me for me to master my weight. Someone else might respond completely different. It's like a complete reset for them. So again, you got to start to trust yourself. So experiment with it and test it out. But for the vast majority of people, trying to starve yourself for 2, 3, 4 times a day, multiple times a month is very difficult and overwhelming, and they're not going to do it. So Jen says, sorry to harp on the pleasure days, but I feel like it's the key between dieting mindset and living mindset. I'm so happy. Yeah, Jen, I agree. You're not harping on it enough for me. You can never harp on the pleasure day thing enough because in a weird way, I will tell you this, people in my program, when I get feedback and I hear what they're doing, I can tell where they're at I can like grade them. And so Jen, to hear you talk about pleasure days the way you're talking about, to me is you've jumped to another level. So harp on it. It's a big, big, big deal. And you're totally right. It absolutely is one of the bridges between being a dieter to thinking as a weight masterer, because it's so crucial. And what I would suggest actually, Jen, is I would go back and watch a training on it too. Okay. Because it's fresh in your mind. So I would go back if you get a little bit of time, I would recommend go to the bonus section, live weekly calls, and scroll down to the Eating Blueprint Pleasure Day. I think it's Eating Blueprint Optimization Part 1, I believe is where I go through that. But I'd watch that now because it's fresh in your mind. Let's really get that, because that concept of pleasure days and clean days, pleasure days especially, is such a fundamental piece of the program. So when you get that insight, all of a sudden, really, really grab onto that because it's really important. Okay. E. Pickett says fast food breakfast on the way to work is probably the worst, and I really enjoy sweets. Okay. So, E. Pickett says the fast food is convenient, so I don't have to get up early to eat at home. Yeah, see, but that's what I mean. Like it's because you lack strategy. You know what I mean? You don't have a good option the best option you have right now in the morning is getting fast food on the way to work. Okay. But that's because that's the only option you have. And so when you think about making breakfast, you think of something that takes too much time and it takes too long. Okay. And so it's really just because you have a vacuum of a good strategy. So let's just say magically, I put together some frozen food thing that's really healthy. And, you take it, you put it in the fridge at night, and it's ready to go in the morning, and you love it. It's as enjoyable as the fast food you get. It satiates you, it nourishes you, it makes you feel good, and it costs the same. Well, if all of a sudden you had that option, you'd probably do that instead of the fast food. You see what I mean? So it's not about forcing yourself not to get the fast food. It's about figuring a better option in the morning. And you haven't really given that much thought. I can tell already by the way you're talking about it. So what I would do is not say, why am I overeating? You see how that's a big vague ass, why am I overeating? We already drilled it down to one of the specifics is in the morning. When I work, I go to the fast food place because I don't have a good strategy for how to make something quick at home for breakfast. So I use the fast food place. So again, you dieters always think it's about stopping going to the fast food place. It's not. It's about having a strategy in the morning that's fast, quick, enjoyable to replace, that's better than the fast food. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, then you don't. But so I hope that makes sense, E-Pick. What we're talking about here now is a much more strategic way to approach what you're doing rather than you someday just answering the question, why do I keep overeating? In all the different situations, because why you overeat sweets is different than why you're overeating in the morning with the fast food. So you can't have the same solution to both of them. They're two totally different originations. Yes. Shayla says, thanks. I started with you. All right. Very good. Very good. That's awesome. Let me see here. Mary says, Mary loves herself. Now that you mention it, there might have been some days where I overweight when I was sad or frustrated, but it was just some days. Mary, I get it. Which again, I'm 100% not picking on you. You know this. I'm here to support you, but you're doing what every single dieter does, and especially you, because you're again, as a dieter, you can go into a real strict plan. Okay. Or you can kind of go, okay, now I'm going to start eating cleaner. Now it's a fuzzy plan. Fuzzy plans, you're not going to be as strict with. You're going to have sad days, frustrated. You're going to eat a little bit more. You're going to have days where you're grazing a little more than you realize. It's just, again, we're not aware. And Program Yourself Thin, one of the core mantras we always say is that awareness precedes change. You're not as aware as you think, folks. And I don't give a shit. You think you are, but so what? Who cares? Who cares if you think you are? That doesn't mean it's real. And I'm here to tell you it's not. And it's really fucking you guys up because you dieters think you know everything to do and what you're doing. You're very aware and you just need to get yourself to get on the right track. And you're so full of shit. You're so far off the track. You're not even close. So it's not my job to come on here and jerk you around some more, make you think you're doing things right. You're doing things 100% fucking wrong. You're running east looking for a sunset on the diets. And so I'm not going to soften my language when it comes to the diets because you're too good of people and too smart and all the rest of the good stuff to be struggling like this, So that's why I say to you, Mary, again, I'm pushing you to be honest with yourself because once you're honest with yourself, then you can see things accurately. And now you have a chance of fixing them. But if you're bullshitting yourself saying, oh, I've eaten perfectly clean for 3 weeks and I haven't lost any weight, that's bullshit. It's not true. It's not true. You've eaten cleaner and it's been 3 weeks and you haven't lost any weight. So what do? Well, we look at what we've done. Now let me flip it around though. Congratulations. I'm really proud of you, Mary, because you've made a change. You've started eating cleaner. You've started to introduce new habits, new behaviors, new eating into your life. Great job. Great job. 3 weeks of it. Nice job. So again, I think about you building successful. And I think great job. You've done a lot of good stuff. You look how much weight have I lost? Again, if you put this in any other context, I don't know what you do, but if you ever went to college, or if you ever went to school, they don't just give you the whole book. Okay, read the whole book by the end of the weekend. They don't teach you everything all at once. You got to start with something. You keep building on it. Weight loss and weight mastery is no different. So great job taking some action, Mary, but you take some action and there's no results. No results. You start eating healthier. You don't feel a little bit better about yourself. You're not proud of yourself. You don't have some healthier habits that you've been starting to do. You don't start shopping a little bit healthier. There's all sorts of great things you've done, but you're only looking at the weight loss. And so you feel like a failure, but you've done lots of good things. And if you kept going with those good things and kept improving, if you continue to improve percentage-wise over the next 3 months, the way you have the last 3 weeks, where would you be? But you're looking at 3 weeks as if that's what? It's like if you start a business. What do you think when you start a business, you're going to make a lot of money the first 3 weeks? If you think that, you're fucked because you're not. And then you're going to be all discouraged and frustrated and you're going to quit. Again, what expectations we imagine in the beginning have such a huge impact on our results, which is why the diet industry, one of the biggest things they've done to you is they've conditioned you to think about your weight loss in a time frame that's this big. And if you don't get instant results, you feel, completely discouraged. So, anyways. Thanks, S. S said she needed this. You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. How do you intermittent fast? I intermittent fast. Let's see. I usually stop eating around 6, 7 o'clock at night, and I start eating the next day, 7, 8 o'clock. So, thanks, that TikTok ad. I don't know. It's like, but again, I always, I guess I'm the diet hipster, right? Because I was intermittent fasting 30 years ago before it was intermittent fasting. Thank God, because I didn't approach it like a diet. It kind of organically happened because I used to eat right up until bedtime, and I started to create a bigger window of time. That was the first step in getting control of the nighttime eating. Was here was bed, and I said, okay, let me stop eating an hour before, 2 hours before, 3 hours before, 4 hours, and I felt better and better and better. But I worked up to it, and that wasn't like the whole thing. The intermittent fasting was just one piece of my whole strategy. All right. So again, I like using intermittent fasting as a tactic. I don't think it's the whole strategy. And that's why I think people using intermittent fasting as a diet are really doing a disservice. I don't think it does everything. So I'm usually 12, 13 hours, somewhere in that ballpark. Sophia says, if you answered my question about drinking tea, I missed it. I had to restart my phone. Tea is great. Tea's fine, as long as you're not putting a lot of sugar or cream in it. So if it's just tea bag tea, great. It's just water basically. And, just be careful of caffeine too. So herbal tea, just like water. And the other teas, just be careful of the caffeine. Dream Baby says, I drink tea, which means I eat less. I'd rather have my tea than food. Yeah, great. Then that's a great strategy for you. Sometimes, a couple times a day or a week when you feel hungry, rely on the tea. Great strategy. Chloe says, I'm doing OMAD, 120 calories a day, and I'm losing weight super fast. I'm just not hungry anymore. Well, you will be, and that's not going to last. So again, Chloe, there's just an opportunity to say, I applaud your effort and I applaud you taking action. I think it's a failing strategy, and you're welcome to prove me wrong. But unfortunately, you're not gonna be able to prove me wrong until next year at the earliest, because I don't give a shit how much weight you lose. I care how much weight you're able to keep off. And 120 calories a day is a temporary, you got yourself all hyped up and fired up. How long you been doing it for? How long you been doing that? Because 120 calories a day, you got a week or 2 or 3, maybe you could muscle through a month, but it's a short-term strategy. So who gives a shit? You lose a bunch of weight super fast. Then you got to start eating normal. At some point, you can put a bunch of weight on super fast. You can be discouraged and frustrated, all the rest of it. And so you're basically just wasting all this time. So probably not what you expected to hear, but that's what I think about things like that. And obviously you're free to disagree with me because it's a free country at the moment. User 569, part 1, I started at 175 pounds and am now 114. Goal is 105, 110. I haven't been this low in 15 plus years. How do I accept and recognize this new body as my new reality? If it were me, I would just spend my time, I would cut the shit with the weight loss. I don't know what 114 to 110 is going to make a difference of. So I think you're scared to get to your goal weight for the exact reason you said, which everyone has to deal with. No one ever thinks about this, but your self-image and how you in program yourself, then we call it your self-image, your identity. And all of you, if you've been overweight for a while, you identify as an overweight person, and so this isn't a process of just losing weight. This is a process of transforming the way we think of ourselves. And so, yeah, now you've lost a lot of weight and you still think of yourself as being overweight, even though you're not. And so it's the process of becoming that version of you. But I think you kind of move that process along faster when you start saying, you know what, I'm at my goal weight. I want to live at 114 for a while and just really enjoy this. And I put all my energy into just accepting and acknowledging and cultivating this new self-image as a 114 person. That's what I would do, because I think you're keeping yourself in diet mindset so that the dieters do this all the time. You got your normal self-image, which is your overweight. Your primary core self-image for most of you is your overweight. All right. And then what you do is you diet for a while. And dieting's not really a mindset. It's an anti-mindset, meaning when you go into full diet mode, it's really just you're always fighting against your natural inclinations. Oh, I want ice cream. No, we can't have that. I want to do this. No, we can't do that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. And you can do that basically until you get to your goal weight. Then you can't keep losing weight and you don't want to go back to being an overweight person. So I've noticed a lot of tricky dieters, they'll keep themselves 5, 10 pounds outside of their goal weight so that they can stay in this perpetual diet mode. And while it does kind of manage their weight a bit, it's a very unpleasant place to live in. So again, a lot of your work now needs to become focused on the inside. How do you think of yourself? How do I think of myself as a 114-pound person? That's what I'd spend a lot of my time with. And once I kind of got that down for, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, then I'd ask the question, do I really want to go to 105, 110? Is it really worth the extra effort? And if it is, do it. If it's not, cool. But that's what I'd suggest. Masala says, how about not eating breakfast? Is it fine? Yeah, it's fine. I mean, everyone, you know what I mean? Like everyone is different. So for me, I've tested it out. I don't like, stop, leave that phone alone. I've tested out. I like eating breakfast. I feel better, And so again, what a crazy concept, eat breakfast, see how you feel. Don't eat breakfast, see how you feel. I'd string a couple days ago, like a week or two, test it out, see how you feel. Test the other one out, see how you feel, and then go from there. Because everyone's different. Now, best practices is eating breakfast. Most people that have lost weight and kept it off, typically they eat breakfast. It's the best practice. So, but there's also people that succeed that don't eat it. So again, ultimately it's up to you, but the best practice for most people is to eat breakfast. So that's kind of a long-winded answer. Sophia says, I trying so hard to lose weight, but I'm just not losing it at all. I eat so healthy and I walk on the treadmill for an hour, 3 to 4 times a day, but the scale is not moving. Whoops. Said I needed that punch in the face. Well, good. It says, how often do you come live? I'm live every day, every weekday anyways. I'm here Monday through Friday, usually around noon Eastern. I'll pop on here. And actually, I got to get going, but yeah. Yeah. So Chloe says sometimes 0 for a few days, just water. Yeah. Yeah, that's my pet. That's my dog. She starts eating her feet and it's like, forget about it. She just goes to town. But I would suggest all of you don't listen to Chloe. You dieters, boy, there's nothing that triggers a dieter and puts them into a trance faster than someone talking about losing a bunch of weight quickly. And then, like people are just like, oh, how'd you do it? How's it been? Who gives a shit? How many, stringing 3-4 days of just drinking water together, you should run for the hills from that. You're not going to do it. You're just wasting your time. Chloe's wasting her time. I mean, if she has some photo shoot coming up, if she got some big thing coming up, she wants to lose weight, then that's a great strategy. But if you want to live at your goal weight, that's a horrible strategy. You don't have to believe me, but you'll find out. So I'm not even here. I don't give a shit if you believe me or not. So, okay, Dream Base. I had to put half and half in some brown sugar. Yeah, okay. So you're basically, that's not tea. That's a little milkshake. You know what I mean? That's a milkshake. It's a tea shake. But you know what I mean? It's a dessert. It's a parfait. When we're drinking tea or coffee, but there's lots of sugar or cream in it, stop calling it a drink. It's a parfait. It's a sundae. It's a dessert. Call it what it is. All right. What's up, Rachel? Rachel said, getting relaxed and calm physically helps me feel more patiently emotionally. Yeah, of course. Your emotions follow, your body, and obviously your mind too. Tamara says, I lost 4 kilograms thanks to your video. Well, that's awesome. Great job, Tamara. Proud of you. Proud of you. Dream Baby, find what's sustainable. Yeah, of course. If it's not sustainable, I mean, now again, that's just my opinion. A lot of people don't believe it. They agree with that, obviously. But I think if there's some unsustainable strategy to lose weight, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in how to lose weight quickly. I'm interested in how to live at my goal weight. So I don't know that the obsession with losing weight for a little while, just to know that you're going to put it back on and feel like shit about yourself. Chloe, to me, like what Chloe's doing, I would love, I know this will never happen, but I would love if Chloe would drop me a line in a month. You know what I mean? When she's gone back to normal, she put all the weight on really super fast, and then talk to me. And because I've talked to those people, and those people are so depressed, and for a number of reasons, because you're fucking your body up. You know what I mean? Like you really are. You really don't understand this. You want to know about starvation mode, the real starvation mode? Let's talk about that real quick, and I got to get out of here. But if you want to understand real starvation mode, it's a genetic thing. Okay. So we need to start with some really interesting work is stuff they've done on the Danish famine study. Okay. And so as a whole population of people, there's a famine, and they track these people for the rest of their lives and then their offspring. And the fascinating part is their offspring were percentage wise way more obese than the average population. And so why is that? Because being in a famine literally changed those people's genetics, and they passed those genetic factors on down to their kids. Now that's genetic factors, but we have a thing called epigenetics. So we have there's our core genetic factors that are kind of decided at birth, and then there's these epigenetic factors that are, you can think of them like switches, like light switches, and they flip on and off throughout life depending on our behaviors, our environment, what we're doing. And so when you do some crazy shit, like basically put yourself into a famine situation, you basically trigger all your epigenetic factors to put you in a starvation mode. And so while you're doing the famine thing, okay, but it's like once you get back to eating, you're going to find, because what does it mean? What do the genetic factors do? How do the genetic factors lead to being overweight? Because I know your brain says, oh, it's metabolism. What the fuck does that mean? I'll tell you what's really happening is you're changing literally your neural conditioning and your neural wiring to become obsessed with food. That's the bigger thing. It's a lot less about how fast or slowly your body burns calories, and it's a lot more about how much more tuned in you get to food. Because that's the big difference between obese people and normal weight people. It's not their metabolisms and the amount of calories they burn. It is their mindsets and their hunger signaling. It's their awareness on food. That's the bigger thing. And that leads to more calories being consumed than thinking that obese and normal weight people consume the same amount of calories and the normal weight people just burn it all off. There's a little bit of that, no doubt, but it's a lot more that people that are obese are wired up with food cues. They respond a lot differently. So when you go and starve yourself for however long you plan on doing this for, you're basically training yourself to be obsessed with food. And right now you don't give a shit, but as soon as you start eating normal, you're going to find yourself binging on lots of food, and you're going to find it a lot harder to manage your eating. And all of you will find the same thing. There'll be a couple outliers. There always are. But the vast majority, when you starve yourself or really, really restrict, you're really doing yourself a disservice long-term because you get super obsessed with food. Believe it or don't. Again, I don't give a shit, but go check it out. Look at Betty. Betty, I appreciate you saying that because it's the obvious stuff sometimes. I just want to read what she said. I can make better decisions when I'm calm. When you put me in a calm state, I can think reasonably. So bizarre. Is it bizarre? Is it? I don't think that's bizarre. You know, like you all are walking around in a constant state of heightened stress. That's the challenge of being an overthinking type of person like you are. You're in a constant state of acute stress chronically. And that at its core is sabotaging your ability to make healthy food choices that cause you to lose weight. So the easiest win you have to influence your weight and to lose weight is to calm down and relax, because then you start thinking differently. You start thinking more clearly. So anyways, Spence, yeah, I like a little coffee with my cream and sugar. Again, a lot of people do it. I'm not judging it, but just see it for what it is. Instead of thinking it's coffee, start calling it a milkshake or, you know, a tea shake or whatever you want to call it, because it's closer to a milkshake than it is a coffee. Does that make sense, folks? Right? On a coffee, we have water with some compounds in it. And when we have a coffee with cream and sugar, it's closer to a milkshake, right? So coffee's here and a milkshake, black coffee's here, tea, black, you know, regular tea's here, and a milkshake's over here. Right. So the second we take black coffee or tea and we start putting cream and sugar in it, it's instantly closer to the milkshake. The second you put a teaspoon of sugar in milk, it's closer to the milkshake. So it's more accurate to call it a milkshake than it is coffee or tea. You're bullshitting yourselves. Anyways. Thoughts on emotional eating? Yeah. Well, I mean, pretty much all weight issues come down to emotional eating, is my belief. Because if you weren't emotional eating, you'd only be eating for nourishment, and you would nourish yourself and then stop, and you'd be at your natural weight. So I believe that emotional eating is really at the foundation of everyone's weight struggles. And the truth is, we've all been conditioned to use food as our main emotional management strategy in this culture. Most of you have no idea how to manage your emotions genuinely. I certainly did not. And that was a core thing I had to learn. How do I deal with the emotions I don't want to feel more effectively without food? And how do I feel the emotions I want to feel without food? Well, I know how to do that now. So as you can imagine, you know, it's a lot easier for me to control my weight because I'm not using it. I'm not relying on it emotionally like I was. So I think it's a huge part of it. How long have you sustained your weight loss? It's been 30 years. I've been at the same weight for 30 years. I had a blip 12 years ago, and it's been the same weight. So again, I've tried to remind you, you guys don't give a shit about weight loss. You've all lost weight in the past. Do you live in that? Are you all fired up and excited that you lost weight 20 years ago? Or do you feel like shit that you put it back on? So the goal is not to lose weight, it's to live at your goal weight. And if you don't get the difference there, then, go watch some other influencer. Watch David Goggins. Tamar says, thank you. What helped me the most is to imagine myself, and I do it every morning. It's motivating. Yeah, absolutely, Tamar. Yeah, that's a core part of Program Yourself Thin is really the rehearsal techniques, what we call it in the program. But yeah, imagining yourself as the person you want to be is really, really, really helpful. No doubt about it. So that's awesome. Yeah, focus more on health and diet. That's great. Yeah, Dream Babe says only use 1 teaspoon of sugar though. Yeah, then great. Again, it's there's nothing wrong. I mean, you don't have to change everything, but if you use a teaspoon of sugar and you have 3 or 4 teas a day, that's 4 teaspoons of sugar. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not saying it's going to sabotage everything, but it's going to slow things down. It's going to make things harder. So again, there's always consequences. You know what I mean? And we have to look at what we're doing. We don't have to stop everything, but if we're not going to give up the sugar, if we're not going to give up the bullshit, we got to, reduce our expectations a bit. Dieters live in crazy land where they always think this all or nothing thing where I make everything perfect. I'm going to lose weight quickly. No, you're not. You're not going to do everything perfect. And what you have to do then is you have to step into a reality where I'm going to make some things better. I'm going to get midland results. That's how you get great results ultimately. So Sophia says, hey, Jim, I had one more question before signing up. I was wondering if I go through the program and I don't lose any weight, is it money back guarantee? Yeah, it is. If you use the program, you got to go through the program, but I guarantee you'll lose weight. If you listen to sessions every day and every night, I guarantee you'll lose weight. That's without even doing the mastery part of it. So yeah, you'll absolutely lose weight. Yeah, I feel awful that I put it back on. Of course, exactly. That's the reality you live in. And you keep putting it back on, folks, because all you focus on is fucking losing it. You never focus on living at your goal weight. You never do. I know you don't. How do I know that? It's crazy that I know that, isn't it? I know you've never once focused on how to live at your goal weight. You wouldn't even know where to begin to learn that. No one teaches it. What's up, Santina? I'm prepared for Halloween this week. All right. Great job. Great job. Yeah, get through Halloween's wonderful. Dream Baby said, I'd rather eat less as long as I can have my daily tea. There you go. There you go, Dream Baby. That's what I mean. It's all about give and take. It's all about making, kind of agreements with ourselves. But I think that's perfect. What you just said there, we keep the things that are most enjoyable, most important to us, and we discard the ones that are least. And doing that, you can really dramatically change your weight in a comfortable way. So that's great. Tamara says, can I join the program from Israel? Yes, absolutely. Got people all around the world that do the program. But if you want to sign up for coaching, just make sure the times work for you. So if you do the standalone home study program, yeah, you can sign up for anywhere and you'll pop right into it and you're all good to go. If you sign up for the coaching one, we have coaching calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Thursday. So make sure those work for you. T-Wit says, I used to drink coffee milkshake 3 to 4 times a week. Now I'm down to 1 cup every couple of weeks. Wow. Great job. That's quite an improvement. Wonderful. Yeah. Karen says, what you just said about emotional eating, so simple and true. It is, right? That's why I try to keep it real simple. It's a real simple definition, for sure. Sophia says, I'm very serious about losing this 20 pounds. Well, great job. Yeah. You just don't have any strategies, Sophia. I know you think you're doing everything right, but you're not, I promise. And yeah, the more strategies, the more likely you are to achieve the goals you want, Yeah. Yeah. So how can I feel emotions I want to feel without food? Great question. Great question. Stick with that question and ask it every day and focus on it, and you'll have answers very quickly. All right. My goal weight is 100 pounds. Do we tell you what our goal weight is before starting the program? No, well, although I don't want to get too deep into this. I'm still working on it, but, oh my God, I'll say this and I got to get out of here, but the, Program Yourself Thin has made such a huge leap forward. And this week, I'm really focused on Program Yourself Thin Thrive. I'm getting that go for my clients, that want to continue, but then Program Yourself Thin's out there. And now the coolest part of all of it is that you're going to have I call it Gym AI. And so there's a clone version of me. And when I say clone version of me, it's literally, I've put like every podcast training I've done, it's over 10 million words right now. And so this part is going to literally take you through the program. And so that's really exciting. So on top of going through the program, that's really good anyways, that's one of the first things it's going to do with you is help you define what your goal weight is and why, and boost that motivation. So it's super exciting. I can't even tell you how excited I am about that. That's in the process of me kind of optimizing it right now, but that'll all be available for anyone who joins up for the program at some point. Yeah. Dale says, yeah, you're so right. Having a healthy long-term association with food is key. Yes, absolutely. Do you think the caffeine ups my cortisol, which hinders weight loss? It could. It absolutely could. It just, things affect people differently. So I can't speak specifically to you. We don't know, but I would keep an eye on it and I would experiment with both and just see, See how it affects. Um, yeah. Yep. If you weren't eating emotionally, you would just eat to nourish your body, right? A simple one. All right, everyone. Very good. Thank you so much. Great stuff today. I really appreciate it. Sorry, Chloe, if I burst your bubble. I don't mean to do that, but I got to protect the group, And again, people hear fast weight loss and they just go into diet trance land and want to just do it. And it's bullshit. So I got to point that out. So I wish you the best with what you're doing. But I'm looking out for everyone else. So anyways, if you're not in my world, make sure you click the link in my bio, go get the hypnosis session I give you, watch the video I made for you, read the emails I send you. They're all free. I got a free hypnosis session coming for you all as well. So make sure you get on that list. If you don't follow me. So if you're following me on any Instagram or TikTok or any place, make sure you follow me so you get my stuff. And then if you like this here, this is always uploaded as a podcast and you can listen to it anytime you want. And the podcast is called Program Yourself. Then it's on all the major platforms and that'll help you as well. And what else? That's it. All right. Very good. All right, everyone. Have a super duper day and we'll talk soon. Bye.